Christians believe that God is a non-physical being. When Jesus affirmed God is spirit, he used the Greek word pneuma, which refers to an immaterial, unembodied agent, an invisible, personal mind. This concept of God is corroborated by perfect being theology. The starting point for this line of reasoning is that God is, by definition, the greatest conceivable being. As such, he has properties that make him great. Take, for example, knowledge. Clearly, a being that knows all truths is greater than a being who knows only some truths. So, a perfect being, God, must be all-knowing. But what does God's omniscience have to do with the idea that he is non-physical? Well, a physical object like a brain would have to be infinite in size and complexity to be the seat of infinite knowledge. And clearly, there are no material objects that fit that description. So, if God is all-knowing, then he must be non-physical. We could also look at God's power. A being that is all-powerful is greater than a being who has limited power. So, a perfect being must be all-powerful. But for a physical being to be all-powerful, it would have to have infinite size and energy. And evidently, there are no material things like that. So, if God is all-powerful, then he must be non-physical. In addition to theological reasons, we also have good philosophical and scientific evidence for the existence of a non-physical creator of the universe. For example, the Kalam cosmological argument proposes that everything that begins to exist requires a cause. Since the universe had a beginning, it requires a cause that is beyond the universe, beyond physical space and time. And the creator of all matter and energy cannot himself be made of matter and energy. So the creator must be non-physical. Another argument, the fine-tuning argument, points out that the natural laws governing the material world include fundamental constants and quantities. These numbers are exquisitely fine-tuned for intelligent life. If any of these numbers varied by an infinitesimally small amount, there'd be no stars, no planets, no chemistry, and no intelligent life. Whoever fine-tuned the universe cannot himself be subject to these numbers, since he's the one who determined them in the first place. So, it seems that whoever is behind it all is not part of the finely tuned material universe. The fine-tuner is non-physical. A third argument builds on the fact that mathematics is really good at describing the material world. In fact, it's unbelievably good. This is both surprising and unexpected. There's no reason to think that it's necessary for mathematics and physics to work together so wonderfully well. But they do. This amazing applicability of mathematics implies the existence of a transcendent mind who created the physical world on a mathematical blueprint. Or, in the words of the Nobel Prize-winning theoretical physicist Paul Dirac, God is a mathematician of the very high order, and he used advanced mathematics in constructing the universe. The mind that created the physical world cannot itself be physical. The cosmic mathematician must be non-physical. So, we have persuasive theological, philosophical, and scientific reasons for thinking that God is spirit. But does it make sense to believe in the existence of something you can't see? As one atheist says, the invisible and the non-existent look very much alike. But even atheists believe in the existence of wind, gravity, time, black holes, magnetism, quantum particles, and dark matter, all of which are invisible. Here's a more thoughtful objection. Science clearly demonstrates that everything is made of matter and energy. Thus, it follows that an unembodied mind does not exist. But of course, science demonstrates no such thing. This is a philosophical position known as materialism, and there are good reasons to doubt it. First, as we've already seen, there are powerful arguments for an immaterial creator of the universe. If these are successful, materialism fails. Second, if materialism were true, then you and I would be nothing more than organized matter. Atheist Richard Dawkins expresses this view of human nature wonderfully. On one planet, molecules that would normally make nothing more complicated than a chunk of rock gather themselves together into chunks of rock-sized matter of such staggering complexity that they are capable of running, jumping, swimming, flying, seeing, hearing, capturing and eating other such animated chunks of complexity, capable, in some cases, of thinking and feeling and falling in love with yet other chunks of complex matter. But this materialistic view of human nature creates some real problems. If humans are reduced to physical objects with no immaterial component, then it becomes really difficult to explain some basic facts about human nature. Here are 4 examples of what I mean. First, physical objects have value only because we assign value to them. Their value is extrinsic. But human beings have value simply by virtue of being human. We have value in and of ourselves, without reference to anything outside of ourselves. Our value is intrinsic. But this fact makes no sense if human beings are merely physical objects. Second, physical objects don't have a first-person perspective. They are not self-aware, nor do they have a subjective viewpoint that can be expressed using the term I. By contrast, human beings do have a first-person perspective. I know myself as a self, and I can express that self-awareness using the term I. I am sitting. I am thinking. I am hungry. This universal experience is hard to explain if human beings are merely physical objects. Third, humans experience mental states that are intentional. We think about things. Whenever you think or believe or wonder, you're thinking about something. You're believing about something. You're wondering about something. We all experience intentional mental states on a daily basis, but physical objects cannot. Fourth, when you feel happy or sad or afraid, your brain is part of the neural circuitry that gives you such experiences. But it's not your physical brain itself that's happy or sad or afraid. It's you. Your brain is an amazingly complex organ that makes up part of your central nervous system. But it's a physical object with physical properties. You can't reduce happiness, sadness, or fear to a physical brain state. The you that is experiencing these feelings is not a material object. Explaining these four facts is problematic if humans are merely organized matter. On the other hand, they make perfect sense if humans have a non-physical component. Thus, we not only have good reasons to doubt that materialism is true, but also good reasons to believe that God is spirit, a transcendent, immaterial, unembodied mind. And if God is spiritual, not material, then our focus in life ought to be spiritual and not material. This is why Jesus said, "Do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothing? Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you."